Hey guys, welcome back to DFS Zone. It is your boy Manny here once again, your source here for your daily fantasy sports lineups for the NFL, NBA, and MLB. And before I continue with the stud 5 for the day, guys, I would appreciate a like on this video. Really would appreciate it. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and turn on your notifications so this way you will not miss any of my new uploads. I am going to be uploading daily, twice a day, with my recap video earlier in the day, and then of course later in the day after I do my research and do all my due diligence, I will share with you my 5 stud 5s for the day, which hopefully will help benefit myself not only, but those of you out there that are looking for a little assistance in making lineups for the day. Stud 5 for today, I'm going to start it off with point guard. And at point guard, I'm going to go with Mr. Chris Paul. Now, Chris Paul, he was one of my duds from the other day, for who has watched the video. He did not play well against his former team. He has not played well against the Clippers in 3 outings already. But nonetheless, I am taking him here today. New Orleans is a poor team against the defense. New Orleans is the one team in the whole NBA that has given up the most points, especially even fantasy points, against this position. And I think Chris Paul is in a good spot here today. Rajon Rondo, I just found out a little while ago that he is not playing tonight. I think he is out. So that will make it even worse on the Pelicans. But you always have that chance of a blowout here. But New Orleans is really, really tough at home. So I would think they're going to battle a little bit. Plus, they got Anthony Davis. So anything can happen. My second stud for today is going to come out of the point guard position as well. And that's going to be, and he's very cheap today, is Alfred Payton. Payton is in a good position here because, for one, he's at home. 2, Golden State doesn't have anybody. Not only that, he's been down, he's in a position where he really needs to, step up and play, especially if Booker does that bump, pinky or whatever it is. One of his fingers is banged up, messed up his shooting the other night. So that's going to open up the doors for Payton as well, to get more run and to get more shots. But at the same time, he's really been not playing as well. His price is just incredibly cheap, $5,600. And not only that, also Golden State is in the top 8 or 9 in the league also, as one of the weaker defensive teams against point guards, especially a point guard like Alfred Payton that shoots the ball, is willing to penetrate and drive to the basket. So this is a good spot for him. So I would think he will be a good player to have on your lineup today, and especially at $5,600, I think that's really a steal on Alfred Payton. I will elaborate on some other value plays and some other possible players that might be intriguing to put on your lineups today. My third stud is going to come out of the shooting guard position, and that's going to be a fairly cheap play too. It's going to be where is he? Mr. Nick Young, okay, playing for Golden State. Obviously, he's in a good position here as well. He is playing against Phoenix. Phoenix is the worst team defensively against shooting guards in the whole NBA. Not only just giving up points to shooting guards, but at the same time, even fantasy points. I mean, they're just the worst. They're number 30. He's in a good spot in that respect, but also not only because he is also in a position where he's going to get the time, he's going to get the minutes, he's going to be on the floor, and they're going to need him to step up, as well as Quinn Cook, who was a good value play today, and as well as Draymond Green. I expect Nick Young to get not only his 25 to 35 minutes in this game, but at the same time I think he's going to have to produce, and I think this is a good spot for him. So I would say he's the third stud out of the 5 studs for today that I think you guys should definitely punch in your lineups. My fourth stud of the day is going to come out of the power forward position, and that's Mr. Bobby Portis. Bobby Portis is playing against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and the Cavaliers are right now one of the worst. I think they're in the top 3 of the worst teams in fantasy points as well as in points allowed in the 4 spot. So he is playing a team where he should be able to have some success. I think out of all the guys that are playing tonight in the 4 spot, he's in the best possible position. And he has been playing excellent as of late too. Yeah, his price range 7, is a little steep, but this is definitely a fair price for Bobby Portis. So I expect him to do well tonight. Punch him in. I really do like him. As your fourth stud. The fifth stud for the night is going to come out of the power forward position too, and that's Mr. Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis in a good spot also here as well. He's at home. He's been like literally on fire. He's going to have to step it up. He's going to have to rebound. He's going to have to pass the ball. He's going to have to block shots. He's going to have to be on the floor for a long period of time, especially if the game stays fairly close. He's going to be there. So I would say Anthony Davis is definitely a lock for tonight. Not only that, Houston doesn't really defend well against the 4. So this is a good spot for Anthony Davis. I think these 5 guys are all well. You still got 5,400 to play around with, and I'm going to let you know of a few possible plays here that you can be able to put in this lineup, and it'll help you that as far as price is concerned. At center, value plays. I mean, I do have a few guys that I like there. I like Kyle O'Quinn for the Knicks. You can actually consider Kyle in this possible lineup. Kyle O'Quinn would be a good person to put in. He's at 5,800. It's not bad. I also like Mr. Noel for Dallas against Brooklyn, knowing that Brooklyn is a weak defensive team, the worst in the league in the 5 spot. And then you also have, I also like Mahimi here for Washington. Gortat is not getting all the minutes anymore, and Mahimi is definitely playing well. I mean, we'll take a quick look here right now. His last few games, you see he's in the last 2 games, he's put 22, 26 minutes. Look at these numbers, 28. He's putting more than a point a minute. 32.7 with 26 minutes the last previous game against Boston. So Mahimi is a solid play here at that price. As a value play, is really cheap at $3,800. Those are 3 cheap value plays. You could even throw in Gortat there if you wanted to, or even Okafor. But out of all these here, I will say I like O'Quinn at 5,800 for the center spot as a value play, or Mahimi. In the small forward position, I'm looking at here. I kind of like, LeBron James would be great here. If you're not going to go with Davis, you go with James today. I think he's solid today against Chicago. I like also Bajeklia here as well. He's in a good spot against San Antonio. He did well against San Antonio his previous game, but at the same time, he didn't play. He wasn't starting. He wasn't playing a full game. And he's been, I think he's going to just, really step up here and play well against San Antonio. Minnesota needs him to be. So I think he's in a good spot. Beasley's in a good spot too. He's at home against Charlotte. He had an incredible game the last game, but he's so up and down. It's unpredictable. You just really don't know if he's going to come through or not. So I'm a little skeptical on Beasley, but he's okay at 6,100. It's not that bad of a price if he could pull out another game like that. Reggie Bullock, there's another one here at 5,300. I think he's a solid little play here tonight. I do like Bogdanovich has done very well against Washington. He's had some really solid games. Let me see. I think I have some. He's put up 36, 41 plus, and 28 plus against the Indiana Pacers. Against the Washington team over the last 3 games he's played against them. Another solid play here will be also Darius Miller. Where is he at? Mr. Miller for the New Orleans Pelicans. Yeah, Darius Miller. Against Houston, he has put up 22 and 25, to almost 26 his last 2 outings against them with minimal with a 25 to 30 minute floor time. I think that's not too bad for $3,600. He's in a good spot here today as well. And I also like in the shooting guard in that same game. He will be in some of my lineups, and that's Mr. Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon has done very well against New Orleans. Mr. Gordon has put up, he's fine. He's put 37, almost 38, 30. His last 2 outings, he exceeded value both games against this team. The last 2 times he played them. So I like Mr. Gordon here against New Orleans as well. So those are some possible plays there. Shooting guard at point guard. I like Payne as a value play. I also like George Hill. He's had 2 good outings, actually 3 good outings against Chicago. He put 24, 24, and 33 in his last 3 previous games against the Chicago Bulls. So George Hill for the Cleveland Cavaliers today is a nice value play that you guys may want to consider. Of course, you got Quinn Cook, who had a great game last night for Golden State. He's he's someone there that you guys can also consider. I think he's in a good position as well today, because Phoenix, again, as we know, is not good against point guards in the point guard position. And then I mentioned Mr. Payne. I think that's pretty much it that I like. Darius Miller, Bogdanovich, Bajeklia in the small forward position, and the shooting guards. True Holiday, if you could get him in there, if you needed to change a few things here within this stud 5, you can. Holiday is a solid pick today, as well as Batum against the Knicks. He's put up 28, 38, and 42 against them. So, he's very dangerous. Holiday has put up 38, 62, 41, and 36 against Houston over his last 4 outings against them. Solid as well. James Harden as one of the studs. If you're not going to have Anthony Davis, I would say you try to pay up and get either Harden or James today, and then build your lineups around those guys. Those guys are solid plays. And then we have at the center position. Like I said, the two value plays are O'Quinn and Mahimi. Out of the studs, Towns is a good play. Gobert is a good play. Even Drummond. I'll probably have Drummond in a few lineups. In the power forward position, of course, we said Davis. You could definitely consider Draymond. He's in a good spot tonight. I think Blake Griffin is in a good spot tonight. Value plays there. I would say look out for Aminu, maybe Looney. Jeff Green might be a good person there as a value play for the Cavaliers. Jarrell Martin, that's a couple of guys. Guys, those are some of the guys that I would think you can consider to throw around and build around this group here, or to mix match and build your own team around those guys. Those are the best plays of the day. That's basically it. That's the stud 5. So the stud 5 for today: Chris Paul, Alfred Payton, Nick Young, Bobby Portis, and Anthony Davis. And of course, I gave you a couple little value plays and a couple of guys that I think that you can actually consider if you didn't want to go with the stud 5. I wish everybody a lot of luck. Everybody hopefully will be winners tonight, including myself, hopefully. And I'll be back tomorrow with a stud 5. Everybody have a good night. God bless.